under pressure. Donald got there in the air, intercepted by the Rams, and they may ride to the Super Bowl on that.
This is for you, Kings fans, wherever you may be. All the frustration and disappointment of the past is gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
Nah, we gotta run that back. What was that, Vin?
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
One more time.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
Freddie, yes, sir. Let's get it. Live from Los Angeles, as always. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. A special night in LA, a classic Carmageddon night, as they call it. USC football playing Rutgers, concert at the Intuit Dome, high school football classic at SoFi. Lakers, Suns we'll be talking about, but the main event, the beginning of the World Series, and what a way to absolutely end game one. The first ever walk-off grand slam in the history of the World Series by your number 5, Freddie Freeman. Injured and all. I said it felt like destiny that this is our year, and I felt that way when we beat not necessarily when we beat the Padres, but in 1988, who do we beat in the NLCS to make it to the World Series? The Mets. 2024, who do we beat in the NLCS? The Mets. Game one of the 1988 World Series ended with a walk-off home run by an injured left-hander by the name of Kirk Gibson. 2024, injured lefty Freddie Freeman when was the last time that Freddie Freeman even had a home run? For him to hit a grand slam, and mind you, Aaron Boone made the decision to walk Mookie Betts to get to Freddie Freeman. It's crazy to talk about a team walking someone and being okay with pitching to Freddie Freeman, considering who Freddie Freeman has been throughout his career. But man, that was his first home run since the regular season, since September 16th against the Atlanta Braves. What a moment. What a moment for Freddie. I don't know what I can tell anybody, but this is a special feeling. The 1988 parallels to the NLCS playing against the Mets and this first game, this feels like the one. I don't want to jinx it, but I truly have never had this feeling before in my life as a Dodger fan. And I've never had this feeling before in the city, other than maybe 2010 Lakers championship against the Celtics. If there's one team that the city would collectively say they want a title from the most, it's the Dodgers. We've been deprived of one since 1988. 2020 was nice, but it was not a normal season. You did not get this Dodger euphoria. Now, there's nothing like when the Dodgers are good in LA. You see the LA hats everywhere. But right now, I went to a supermarket today. All the employees were in Dodger blue. LA hats everywhere you look. I can't even imagine what it was like for kids at school. It was a palpable feeling. Everybody asking about the score. Everyone's in on it. Even if you don't know about baseball, if you don't give a shit about baseball, you can't hide from what's happening right now. There's nothing like it. And it's crazy because basketball is the number one sport in LA. It's not even close. But the Dodgers, as I said, they have the popular vote. I'm sorry, Laker fans that don't support the Dodgers, but they do. Because you see everybody in on the act. The transplants, Clipper fans, we're all in. Most Clipper fans I know that almost basically every Clipper fan I know that lives in LA County personally know they're all Dodger fans. It brings us together. It brings everybody together. It's truly special. And I just can't describe the feeling. But let's talk about the game a little bit specifically. Of course, it's 1-4, not 1-1, but we are 3 games away, and I've never been this close in LA to this, because the 2 years that we were in the World Series in 17 and 18, I was in college across the country at the University of Massachusetts, which, yes, means I was in Red Sox territory when we lost, and it was a nightmare. So, I remember during that time, I would check everyone's Instagram stories, and even the girls that went to UMass, they were posting about the Red Sox beating our ass. Tonight, I went on Instagram, whether it was my personal account or my Dime Dropper account. You can follow us on social media at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. Everyone from LA, the girls and boys, 90% of them are posting about the Dodgers, about Freddie's home run. Truly the most incredible feeling. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Any donations appreciated. But to talk about it a bit, Jack Flaherty, the local kid, game 1. He didn't have the stuff in game 5 in New York. But was it game 5 in New York? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, game 5 in New York. He didn't have the stuff. But in game 1 in the NLCS, he was great. The game I went to, and you can catch that vlog on this channel. Man, it'd be so special to say I was at a playoff game of a World Series run. But he was lights out again tonight. He pitched a near perfect game, and not a literal perfect game in the baseball sense, but like what we needed from him, shutout until that Stanton home run that made it 2-1. John Smoltz on commentary was pretty critical of the pitch that he had right before the one that led to the Stanton home run, where it was just really, really high, and it was, no good hitter's going to swing at that. But I can't be mad at Jack Flaherty. 2 runs allowed in 5.1 innings, so 5 innings, and then 1 out in that one. But then we got out of some scrambles, and so did the Yankees, to be fair. But we got out of some scrambles, first with Anthony Bend coming in and getting 2 strikeouts. By the way, Freddie Freeman had a triple in this game, and we had 2 triples in this game, which was absolutely wild. But this was what I love. Like, I'm not a huge baseball guy. I'm a Dodger guy, but baseball I like a lot. But I don't love and know the ins and outs of baseball the way I do basketball or even soccer to a degree. But what I do know is that for me, I love an old-fashioned pitcher's duel like this, where runs are hard to come by and every single pitch feels massive and every single hit feels massive. Garrett Cole and Jack Flaherty were on their best game, on their A game tonight. A game. And when you're looking at it from a Dodger perspective, we don't give a shit how Garrett Cole's doing. Of course, you're going to admit that he's playing well, but we're not hit. Our bats were not coming through for the majority of the game. They did not come through. We didn't get much from Shohei, didn't get much from Mookie. Got nothing from a lot of the guys at the bottom, like Gavin Lux, but he did get that huge walk that ended up being, he ended up being one of the runs in Freddie's grand slam moment. But the party started when Kike tripled and Will Smith hit a sac fly. Both of our first 2 runs were sac flies. We're up 1-0. And then when Jack Flaherty allowed that home run, he got taken out. Bonda came in, struck out Rizzo. Volpe was intentionally walked, and it ended up being a good decision. And we struck out Alex Verdugo, former Dodger Alex Verdugo, who, by the way, made some incredible plays in the outfield tonight. As much as I hate to say it, he definitely did. But it was nice to get that strikeout there from Bender. So down 2-1, though, going into the 6th. And this was one of those big moments that I felt as though, holy shit, we're going to do it again where we blow the game with runners in scoring position. Tommy Edman leads off the bottom of the 6th with a double. So then we have the top of our lineup, Ohtani, Betts, and Freddie coming up next with no outs and a guy on second base. And with Shohei grounding out to short, Tommy Edman moved to third. We still got 1 out and Tommy Edman on third base. And then Mookie and Freddie both, Mookie grounded out and Freeman flied out. So that we blew a golden opportunity to tie or take the lead there. Brusdar Graterol came in, first time seeing him in the postseason, coming back from injury. And he did allow 1 single, but besides that, just 4 batters in that top of the 7th. Got it done really nicely. So again, our bullpen was massive, as it has been throughout this postseason. Then bottom of the 7th, another golden opportunity blown by us. Teoscar started the inning with a single. And then when Muncy was hit by pitch, we had runners on first and second with no outs. And Kike, I believe that's when he bunted, if I'm not mistaken. Max Muncy got to second, Teoscar to third. We only have one out at this point. One out and runners on second and third. Will Smith, who hasn't been good in this postseason hitting the ball, popped out to short. And then Gavin Lux grounded out to second. At this point, Gavin Lux had given us absolutely nothing. Alex Vesia, great to have him back as well because he was playing well in the postseason before he got hurt. 1, 2, 3 inning in the top of the 8th. Gets to the bottom of the 8th. Shohei with the double that looked like a home run. And then a fielding error, a throwing error. And by the way, some of these errors by the Yankees or suspect fielding plays really came back to bite them in the ass late in the game. So, I mean, if you're a Yankees fan, this has to be a heartbreaker. Such a winnable game. You absolutely had it and choked, if we're being real. And how many times have we been in that situation, Dodger fans? How many times have we had those heartbreaking defeats in the last couple of years? Dodger fans my age and 30 and in their early 30s, we've only seen that type of shit. So Shohei's big-time double ends up getting 3. And then we got another run on a sac fly, this time by Mookie Betts, to tie the game at 2. Top of the 9th, we had Kopech. And this is when I was getting nervous because we started with those 2 outs. And then Torres had a double. Soto was intentionally walked. And we got to Aaron Judge. Blake Trinan comes in and gets the big out. How huge has Blake Trinan been in this postseason? But tonight wasn't a flawless game for him because he just did a poor job of checking his runners. And we had, what's his name? Fucking Chisholm Jr. stole 2 bases. 2 bases. So, by the way, with Teoscar, Muncy, and Kike, I was like, man, is there a moment right here for someone to be a hero? Didn't get that moment. Go to the top of the 10th. And as I said, the Chisholm Jr. to just steal 2 bases. I mean, that's inexcusable. Inexcusable by us. Almost cost us the game. And then when Tommy Edman, who already in the first hit of the game was an error by Tommy Edman. And Tommy's been just spectacular throughout the postseason, right? Obviously, our NLCS MVP. He fumbled the ball when he was getting it out of his glove to turn 2 in that 10th inning. That would have ended the inning for us. And it ended up scoring the run of Chisholm Jr. to give the Yankees the lead. And I was just like, oh, my God. Like, Tommy Edman, who's been so great for us, is going to be part of the reason we lose this game. And by the way, Tommy Edman had an amazing play that prevented more bases for I forget who was hitting earlier in the game. Mookie Betts had a great play in the outfield as well. So these all add up. You know, this is the World Series. Every single play counts. Every single catch counts. Every single base counts. And then the moment. It's funny because started with an out from Will Smith. Gavin Lux finally made someone count. He got walked. Edman reached on an infield single. I believe that was when there was a Yankee that could have gotten out there. Then Shohei with the foul out to left, but an incredible play by, what's his name? Verdugo. And then Mookie Betts intentionally walked, which set up the stage for Freddie Freeman. I mean, and then the moment, I mean, the rest is history. Just like Kirk Gibson, injured, lefty to end the game. If everybody that paid $1,000 or $2,000 for that ticket, I mean, you got your money's worth. But the crazy part is I think we can play a lot better in terms of our hitting. Shohei, 1 for 5. Mookie Betts, 0 for 3. Ended up scoring a run when he got walked intentionally, obviously. But yeah, even Freddie. Now, Freddie was pretty good. He had a triple and a home run. Can't ask for more than that, especially given the condition that he's in. Teoscar, 1 for 4. Max Muncy, 0 for 3. You know what I mean? We got like 0 for 3 from Will Smith, but he did have an RBI on that sac fly. Gavin Lux, 0 for 3. Did end up getting walked. Tommy Edman was actually 2 for 4. So we can get a lot better, too. That's the thing. But Jack Flaherty, I'm going to tell if we win this World Series, I'm telling my kids about Game 1 Jack Flaherty. Because game one Jack Flaherty against New York teams has come through. But 1-0 Dodgers. I've just been watching that home run over and over again. And yeah, we got to win this World Series for Fernando, man. It was fitting that the first Dodger game since Fernando's sad passing ended with a win. 3 more left. And with this 2-3-2 format, it's very important to protect home field. If we win that next game, I'll be feeling really good, because even if we don't win 2 in the Bronx, we come back with 2 games to win 1. So this next one is huge. I don't want to go to this. This team is clearly better than the New York Mets, right? At least from what we've seen so far. That game was nervy. And it was fun having a game that was kind of close after all the games in the Mets series were blowouts for either side. This was cinema. This was a classic. So, yeah. I see the comments, everybody. Shout out to everybody. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. I'm not going to read them right now because I'm trying to keep my train of thought for this Lakers analysis. But yeah, big time stuff from the Dodgers. And I'm telling you this right now, if we win this World Series, this will be the greatest championship of my life, of any sport. Like any sporting win, this will be the number 1 for me. I mean, no question about it. If you're wondering why, I mean, I'll let you know later, or I'll let you know another time. You should probably know. But by the way, Clippers first game at the Intuit Dome against the Suns. That vlog is out on the channel. It has 7,000 views. It was really good. By the way, I want to ask a question. Do you guys want me to shorten the vlog and split it up into game film and then post-game interviews, or pre and post-game and then game? 3 separate videos, 2 separate videos? Let me know, because it's starting to get too long, because everybody wants to be in the video now and people are finding out about it. I don't want to post 50 to an hour long vlogs, even though it's doing well so far, both of them. But now, a word from Mint Mobile, who this video is in partnership with. And on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about Lakers and Suns. The Lakers have started this season 2-0. What has led to that? Going to be talking about that coming up. Ever wanted to cut back on your monthly bills? You've got health insurance. You got different kinds of insurance. You got your TV, cable. You've got your phone bill. You've got your electricity. And you want to cut down, simplify that. Well, that's why I'm so intrigued by Mint Mobile, who this video is in partnership with. They offer premium wireless for just $15 a month. I can get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. I can even bring my own phone along with my current phone number and existing contacts, so I'm not sacrificing anything. I've used Mint Mobile. And the thing about Mint Mobile is it's not hard to switch your service. Big Wireless wants you to think it's hard, but it's really not. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. If your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. So if you want to save little money without the sacrifice, go to https://trymintmobile.com/dimedropper. That link will be in the description so you can get started. Switching your plan takes as little as 15 minutes. That's Mint Mobile. Welcome back, Los Angeles. What a night. What a night for LA. All the LA teams won. USC, Lakers, Dodgers. Let's talk about Lakers and Suns. So the Lakers starting the season 2-0. And they got this one in a come-from-behind fashion after being down by 22 points to Phoenix. And it was a complete tale of 2 halves. And in the first half, I thought, honestly, the Suns were just really, really hot. Like, Devin Booker hit 2 pretty contested threes. The Lakers were playing drop coverage with AD when Nurkic was the screener against guards. So let me be clear what that means. It means that the Lakers did not want to switch Austin Reeves or D'Lo onto Nurkic, right? Because they're okay. I think JJ Redick and any coach in the league is pretty comfortable switching AD out to anybody. It's more about if you put a guard against Nurkic on the interior, you're going to be able to rebound, right? So if LeBron was guarding the point of attack, they'd switch that when AD was put in the action. When Rui was guarding the point of attack, they would switch that when AD was put in the action. But when it was the guards, AD would be in that drop coverage, and very quickly figured out, okay, I can't do that against the Suns. So then against KD and Booker, he was in that high drop. And with Beal, I remember when Jackson Hayes came in, Beal came off a screen and just walked into a 3 and drop coverage. And the Suns hit 6 straight. There were even some possessions where the Lakers were rotating, because if you don't have switch everything personnel and you're putting big in drop coverage or you're throwing 2 at the ball, with today's spacing, you are giving something up. That is the nature of today's game, right? And the Suns were just making all the right reads. They were making all the right reads, swinging the ball. There were sometimes where the Lakers were even making it go to option C or D on the possession. And Monty Morris hit 2 fucking threes. So they were just scorching hot. But offensively, the Lakers were very sloppy. LeBron had a terrible start to this game in the first half. He missed the layup. D'Lo was horrific. You know what I'm saying? For the second straight first half, he was absolutely horrific, taking bad shots, not really moving much on either end of the floor, turning the ball over. And the Suns, I mean, they were just on fire. They were moving the ball. They were all hitting threes. And it kind of came out of nowhere because it was 21-18 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first quarter. And then they just went off from 3. And also, Lakers were switching 1 through 5, but as I said, not letting the smalls guard Nurkic. So they were letting AD switch on the perimeter, essentially, not 1 through 5, more so 3 through 5, so to speak. At the end of the first quarter, the Lakers were up. I'm sorry, the Suns were up 38-23. Second quarter, the Lakers gained momentum towards the end of the first half, which gave them that, or should I say they got their groove back at the end of the second quarter. That gave them momentum going into the second half. Beal was going ballistic for a while in the beginning of the second quarter, and D'Lo was just dog shit on both ends, not sitting in a stance defensively. He had one nice block on Devin Booker, but oftentimes with D'Lo, and I'm a pretty big, I wouldn't say big D'Lo fan, but I like D'Lo. He doesn't sit in a stance defensively. He doesn't use his hands at all. His effort on that end of the floor isn't great. He already doesn't have the best lateral movement. And there were just times where he just got the corner turned on him so easily, whether it be him fighting through a screen. And I say fighting like that because he wasn't really fighting through a screen. And in the second half, there were moments where they were straight up just taking advantage of him and putting him in the action over and over. Now, the Suns, 16 assists on the first 19 made field goals, and they were 10 for 13 from 3 to begin the game. Ryan Dunn was on fire, the rookie who's shown some really good signs. And really the only players I thought that were playing well for the Lakers were Rui Hachimura, who was attacking closeouts, being aggressive. And then Austin Reeves and Anthony Davis, they've really found synergy in the pick and roll. 5 times I counted that Reeves assisted Anthony Davis in the first half alone. And I thought Reeves did a good job cooking in terms of the timing of his passes in pick and roll. And the only reason I think, not the only reason, actually, no, I shouldn't say only reason, but one of the reasons that the Lakers were in the game still, and they could have, I don't know if it could have been out of sight because in today's NBA, even a 20-point lead at halftime isn't really safe because of the 3 ball and the pace. But the Suns could have been in a much more comfortable position than only up by 9 points at halftime had they limited their turnovers. And a lot of it, 12 turnovers in the first half, a lot of it was Yusuf Nurkic, who in this game might have been the worst player on the floor. I mean, the guy was throwing really reckless passes, like one-handed lazy passes, wasn't seeing the open man, was getting dominated on the other end. He was shooting threes. Look, not everybody has to shoot threes in the NBA today. Yusuf Nurkic, he's not a good three-point shooter. He's a good post player, and he's got good touch. I don't see the three-point shot in his future. Teams are going to completely live with it. He was 0 for 3 tonight from 3, 1 for 5 from the field, minus 19 in 18 minutes, which was the worst of any Sun. Mason Plumlee played 19 minutes, and he was a plus 14 with 6 points, 7 boards on 3 for 4 shooting. But, I mean, that's going to be an issue for the Suns all season. I mentioned it in my Western Conference preview, which is now out on the channel and timestamped. The Suns are dog shit when it comes to their interior defense. And to me, that was the main reason the Lakers won this game. They have a rim protector, and the Suns just don't. Anthony Davis just shuts off the paint. He just shuts off the paint completely. And in the second half, Austin Reeves and LeBron started making their threes. Reeves hit 2 threes, then LeBron hit 2 threes, and they were going under the screen. And LeBron kind of woke up. Things changed. He had this beautiful turnaround over the right shoulder from the left corner. He was making some really good passes on some driving kicks. And yeah, he had several nice kickouts. The Suns, though, were up 81-74, so they didn't totally fall apart. The Lakers answered that with an 8-0 run after a JJ timeout. And in the third quarter, the Lakers outscored the Suns 35-24. And by the way, they also outscored them 29-23 in the second. So the Lakers actually outscored Phoenix in 3 out of the 4 quarters. Just the first quarter, they didn't get off to a very good start. But they showed a lot of resilience to get back in the game. Now, you've seen in both games the 2 big lineup with Jackson Hayes at the 5 and Anthony Davis playing the 4. And when they go to that, teams are almost always going to try to put Jackson Hayes in the pick and roll because teams just don't want to put Anthony Davis in the pick and roll, right? But then you have Anthony Davis on that back line, which makes it very tough to score. And even if you throw 2 on the ball and give it to the roller, Anthony Davis is the one rotating there at the rim, which makes things difficult. Now, Devin Booker also had a lot of good looks in the second half from 3, wide open that he just did not hit. He started the game super well, but he could not hit the 3 ball in the second half. Now, Austin Reeves and Anthony Davis, they continued their little 2-man game. Reeves was making his threes, playing very solid defense. And here's the thing about Reeves. He's not the guy that you want guarding the elites of the league. He's just not. But he's a solid defender. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's bad. I think he's above average. I would even call him pretty good. But he's still not too strong. He's not the best laterally. He's not the longest. So he's just solid. He works hard, right? And that's half the battle. But he's not the guy I would want on a Devin Booker or KD in isolation, stuff like that, as my best point of attack defender. So that's something where the Lakers, in terms of the championship conversation, I don't know if they quite have. I do admire LeBron for guarding KD to start the game tonight, but he was getting cooked. I mean, KD was coming out just dogging. But as the game went on, it felt as though the Suns had trouble guarding without fouling. And as the Lakers continue to get stops, that allowed them to get in transition and play with a little bit more pace. So, and then they fed off that home crowd. You know what I mean? And as far as the JJ stuff, right? I talked about that in the first game. It seemed like a lot more motion sets, gave the ball to AD and LeBron in the high post, cut off of them, had back screens, split actions, all that stuff. I saw less of a motion kind of feel from the Lakers tonight. I think there were still moments where they did feed it into the high post. There were some horn sets with 2 guys coming up, throw it to one of them and then cut off of them or get into a dribble handoff. So you saw a little bit of that. And then the inverted pick and roll, which is when your big man has the ball and a guard is setting a screen for them. JJ actually talked about that on the podcast with LeBron, that he thinks it's super hard to guard, which it is if you have the right personnel. In the Lakers case with AD handling the ball, they have a guy like Reeves or D'Lo set the screen. Most times a big that's guarding AD is going to go underneath that screen because they'll live with the big shooting a jumper. But when they do that and the screen is being set inside the foul line or like 12 feet and in, that gives that big man a running start to get 2 feet in the paint and potentially draw a help defender to make a play or just go into the chest of the big, which is what Anthony Davis has done a really, really good job of since he's kind of taken this leap into being the main man on the Lakers. And despite the fact that I thought tonight was more of an ISO kind of heavy approach in the Lakers in the second half, get it to LeBron against a favorable matchup, get it to AD against Nurkic and let him turn and face. Sometimes when you play against the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're a very good defense. Or at least they were last year. So you might need to get a little more creative. You might need to get them moving a bit more. With the Suns, there's going to be some mismatches. Like nobody on this team can guard Anthony Davis. Like I think the Lakers would smack the Suns in a series. Nobody can guard Anthony Davis, and he's a rim protector that they just don't have. And if we're being honest, outside of Kevin Durant, nobody can guard LeBron one-on-one on that team. Royce O'Neal's a little too small. And then everyone else, the Devin Bookers, the Bradley Beals, they're also too small. LeBron's just too physically dominant. And then on the other end, what I've noticed the Suns were doing was they didn't want to put AD in the action anymore. So they started targeting the guards, and the Lakers are switching 1 through 4 on everybody not Nurkic. So when Reeves was on KD or D'Lo was on KD, they were giving it to him. And the Lakers did a decent job of showing some help, rotating, and running guys off the line. That was a big thing, running guys off the three-point line in the second half, because in the first half, the Suns shot 18 threes. Well, in the third quarter, they only got, I don't know who somebody, I think a sideline reporter, I think it was Angel Gray, may have said that the Suns only got three-point attempts off in that third quarter. Total bullshit. They got 12 off. And one thing I wanted to talk about with the Suns, because I didn't do a recap on this channel for the Clipper game, one of the biggest criticisms of them last year was that they don't shoot enough threes because they have 3 mid-range specialists and they don't play the math game. So, Bud, he's already telling them to shoot more threes. And to be fair, Beal, KD, and Booker with the pull-up threes coming off screens, they can hit that. So, honestly, it makes sense for them to shoot more threes because they're statistically pretty good. But without them getting away from that mid-range, that's what's important, You don't need one or the other. You definitely need both. But the Suns, I think part of the reason why they just lost is because they started cooling down. And the Lakers are at home. They had the best player on the floor for the second straight night. I mean, the way Anthony Davis is playing right now, I didn't do a ranking last year. Going into the season, I haven't done a player rankings. I might do a video talking about it, but nothing that's happening this season can be can be taken into account if I make my player rankings. Those are going into the season, right? Those aren't predictions. Those are essentially the last 2 years. But Anthony Davis right now is looking like top 5 status because on both ends, we know what he does defensively, but he's being so aggressive offensively. And the one thing I will give JJ is that even though, as I said, it was a little bit more of an ISO approach in this game, they're using AD as a hub. They're really playing through him. It's not the LeBron show anymore. It hasn't been. And last year, how many times did we talk about, AD is going away from the ball. He's not demanding the ball. Darvin's not running plays for him. How many times, Laker Nation, did we talk about first half of games, AD's really prevalent. He's doing everything. Second half, ghost. And we know AD's not the kind of guy that's going to demand that rock like a Kobe or LeBron would, right? He's also a big. So a lot of bigs, they have to be fed the ball. They don't have that, just give it to me at half court type of shit, right? But Shaq, if you watch Shaq play back in the day, hand up at all times, calling for the ball in the post, fighting for post position. AD, he's not as aggressive off the ball in that sense. But it's and LeBron's not just going to, I don't think he's just going to willingly give him the ball. So JJ, I have to give him the credit, even though I hate the guy as a basketball personality. Can't stand him. Don't ask me why again for the millionth time. But I'm not an idiot, and I'm not like I'll still tell you what I think. And he's clearly empowered Anthony Davis. He's clearly said, look, we're going to run this offense through AD. Reeves is going to handle the ball almost as much as LeBron. LeBron's going to most likely bring us home most nights and be the leader on the floor. I don't know if conserving energy for defense is part of that equation, because in the first half, LeBron's defense was terrible off the ball, just falling asleep left and right. Second half, better. But Anthony Davis, he just makes up for so much defensively. He gets guys to stop and pop for mid-ranges. He gets guys to take floaters. He changes layups. And yet, national media snoozes on him in terms of the defensive player of the year race every year. It's insulting as somebody, even as a Clipper fan, who just watches this every night, who's blessed to watch what AD does on both ends every night. And honestly, I think AD's in his prime right now. He might even be in his peak if he can lead this team to at least 2 series wins. Because when he won the championship, it was a 1A, 1B dynamic. I'd even just call LeBron if I had to choose the man. Anthony Davis has never been the clear-cut best player on a conference finals team. He's only been the best player on a second round. Here's the thing. It depends what you think of 2023. Was he clear-cut better than LeBron? I think he was in that playoff run, but throughout the season, I think LeBron was right there with him neck and neck, and he's still the closer. But this is the clearest sign that Anthony Davis is the best player on the team. LeBron has relinquished it. JJ's empowering him to do it, and he's going out there and getting it. The amount of times that AD settles these days, very, very rare. He takes a guy like Nurkic. He can't guard him one-on-one. So if you're AD, you bring him out a bit and try to get the step on him, and he did several times. So it just felt like, KD was trying at the end, but the Lakers had it on lock. After D'Lo made that tough 3 from the right wing, I was like, yeah, they got him. So the Lakers, in very commanding fashion in the end, get a win, 123-116, coming back from a 22-point deficit to go 2-0. And Anthony Davis became the first Laker since the great Kobe Bryant to begin the season with back-to-back 30-plus point games, and only the third in history to have start the season with 2 35-plus point games. Guess who the other two guys were? Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. Not bad for some plumbers, huh, JJ? I'm never going to give him a pass for that shit. And, he never called Jerry West and Elgin Baylor plumbers, but when he said Bob Cousy was playing against plumbers, and Bob Cousy played 3 years against Jerry West and played 5 years against Elgin Baylor, that's insulting. And as an LA sports fan and a Laker historian, which I pride myself on being, because you can't talk, and a Celtic historian, by the way. It's not just the Lakers. You can't tell the story of the NBA without the Lakers and the Celtics. Elgin Baylor and Jerry West, two of the greatest to ever fucking touch a basketball. Never a plumber, JJ. So, but congrats to JJ. He's doing a good job. Phoenix, by the way, they're exactly what I thought they'd be. Like, KD is so good, but I just don't see him, like, take over enough games for me. He takes over stretches, but he doesn't take over enough games for me anymore. He hasn't for years. And I don't know if it's his lack of vocal leadership. And by the way, I heard Stephen A say he's not a leader and stuff like that, and a bunch of people came at him. And here's my thing, right? We always talk about leadership with Kevin Durant. Why though? Why is it such a thing? And here's the thing, right? There are different types of leaders. There are lead by example guys that lead with the work that they put in, which Kevin Durant is a part of. Then there's vocal leaders like your Draymonds, like your LeBrons, your Magic Johnsons, Larry Birds, Bill Russell, like those kind of guys, right? They're going to talk. No, hold on a sec. JJ ain't lying, though I don't like him disrespecting the legends like that. What do you mean he's not lying? Because if you're referring to people that had a second job, that wasn't everybody in the league. I challenged somebody, including JJ Baby Dick, to give me a player that was drafted in the 60s that got significant minutes that worked a part-time job. Because those were usually in the 50s. Once Wilt and Bill Russell came, the league became bigger, that an ABC contract and everything. Jerry West got enough money that he didn't have to do that. And Jerry West would bust JJ Redick's ass, even dribbling palm over, like hand over the ball. So Kawhi is okay. Let's not even get started with him being a leader. He wasn't even at he leads by example when he plays, but whenever he gets injured, he goes ghost. Didn't even he had to get bullied into sitting with the team during the conference finals when we made it. But I think Larry Bird is both. I think he's a lead by example type, but I think Larry Bird, when it came down to talking, he did it. Even Tim Duncan, people act like he wasn't a vocal leader, but that's not true at all. He talked a lot to his teammates on the court. He even just made eye contact that got his teammates to know what he wanted to do. Kevin Durant, for me, I think Steph Curry's a little bit more vocal than him. I've never been on a team with these guys, obviously, so it's just me talking from the outside. But I think Steph Curry's a little more vocal than KD. And there was a compilation that was posted by some Phoenix Suns account that was like a 5-minute compilation I watched of people talking about Kevin Durant's leadership, but almost all the clips were talking about his example, and because he puts himself, he works so hard himself that it sets an example. He's the first to leave. The first to get to practice and the last to leave. He goes games. I've heard that for a decade plus, by the way, that he goes at game speed in all his workouts. And he truly is like the embodiment of someone that just loves the game. But it was all talking about that. It's not talking about a galvanizer. Look, I found out everything I needed to know about KD's leadership when he tucked his tail between his legs and ran to Golden State. I found out everything I needed to know when he acted like such a follower with Golden State and was like, all right, if one guy doesn't want me and stuff like that, I'm out. That was just ridiculous to me. And then he goes and gets his own team. And then he doesn't he kept saying when he was asked about Kyrie with the vaccine, he's like, he's his own man. I can't do anything about it. Are you kidding me? Kobe Bryant and Larry Bird would have fucking injected him themselves. I don't know. I just feel as though Kevin Durant devalues winning, but I don't see it in a lack of effort. I want to make that very clear. I don't think he doesn't try. I just think it doesn't seem like it kills him that he doesn't win championships anymore. It feels like he's content with what he's done. I've always gotten that feeling. And Fleet talked about it on the Four Sportsmen. And then Booker's kind of in the same boat to me. He doesn't have as much of an ability, So with LeBron and AD, I don't know, their presence was just greater. Even though LeBron didn't have as good of a stat line as some of those guys tonight. His presence just felt greater. The Suns aren't winning shit. They have no interior defense. Their point of attack defense isn't good enough. They have 3 players of the same archetype that shoot similar shots. And I don't think I've been saying it since 2022 on this channel. You can literally go back and check. KD's never winning a championship as the best player on a team consensus. He's never going to do it. He ain't built like that. And like with a clear cut, he's the number 1 option. And that really gets these fans butthurt because some people think he's the second coming of Jesus because he's such an aesthetically pleasing player that there's literally never been another of. There's never been another Kevin Durant. And there's all these wannabes like Wemby and Chet and these guys that want to be the big Jabari Smith, want to be these big lanky guys that face up. No one is quite like KD. But he's never going to win a chip as the best player ever. I can promise you that. He's not built for it. He's in that second tier to me of NBA greats all time. Dirk, Kevin Garnett, John Havlicek, that group. It's an amazing group. It's an amazing group to be a part of. The Willis Reeds, those guys. I'd even put him above Willis Reed. Clyde Frazier, Isaiah Thomas. That to me is the group he's in. He's not with Steph, Magic, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. He's not part of that crew. Larry Bird, he's not. Not for me. Never will be. But he's so great. Suns ain't winning shit, though. Good win for the Lakers. 123-116 from Staples Center. The Suns shot 51% of the game and still lost. And by the way, just because I went on that tirade about Kevin Durant, that has nothing to do with this game. This game, KD was the best player on the Suns. Nothing to do with this game. And last season in the playoffs, he was also the best player. But you didn't even get a game, bro. You got swept by Ant-Man, a kid making you look like Ant-Man took over games. He grabbed him by the neck. I didn't get that from KD. I haven't seen him have games like that in the playoffs since those, 2 games against the Denver Nuggets in the 2023 series. All right, let's look at the lines for tonight. I said 51% shooting for the Suns, 46% from 3, and they still lost. They also shot 88% from the line, but the Lakers shot 22 more free throws and only 7 less shots. And how many times have we talked about the Lakers shooting significantly more free throws than the opposing team? Everybody always talks about the Laker refereeing advantage, and they always get the home calls. But with AD being as relentless as he's being, Austin Reeves being good at drawing fouls, and LeBron being so hard to guard without fouling, you can just kind of see, what you can just kind of see why they get fouls. So the Suns played a 10-man rotation. That Iguodala guy was my first time seeing him play. He was the 40th pick in this year's draft out of Marquette. He was pretty quiet. 6 minutes, no shot attempts, 1 rebound. Ryan Dunn, should he have gotten more minutes in the second half? Because he only got 14 minutes and he was pretty lights out shooting the ball. 5 3-pointers taken. Those were all the shots he took. He made 3 of them. So he had 9 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist, and no turnovers in 14 minutes. So I don't know. Maybe he should have played more. Mason Plumlee, already talked about his stat line. And then Royce O'Neal, 7 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and a steal on 2 for 5 shooting and 1 for 3 from deep. He had a plus 14 plus minus along with Mason Plumlee. And then Monty Morris, 13 minutes, 8 points. I think he's a solid addition for them. 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and no turnovers on 2 for 3 shooting, and all those shots were threes. Very solid performance by him off the bench. Then the starters, I talked about Nurkic, 4 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers on 1 for 5 shooting, 0 for 3 from deep, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. He was dog shit, in my opinion. They got to try to make a trade for him. If they still had Aiden, they'd be so solid. Tyus Jones, off to a solid start to the season for me. 14 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. He is one of the weak links defensively, though, that teams are going to go at. 2 turnovers on 5 for 8 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3 and 2 for 2 from the foul line. So he was very efficient. Then the big 3, Bradley Beal with 15 points, 9 assists, 2 steals, and a block on 6 for 14 shooting, 3 for 6 from 3, but no free throw attempts. And Booker and Beal combined only shot 2 free throws. And that's something. This Suns team just does not get to the line enough. They do not get in the paint enough. We saw that they got outscored with the points in the paint against the Clippers, against my Clippers. Tonight, only 50-46 in favor of the Lakers in the points in the paint department, but 14 more points from the free throw line for the Lakers. So you don't get points in the paint when you go to the line, right? But it's still a paint touch. Devin Booker, 23 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block, 2 turnovers on 9 for 21 shooting, 4 for 10 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line in 35 minutes. Personally, don't think he was quite good enough. In the first half, he was very good, but in the second half, I want to check. Yeah, second half, he was 4 for 10 with 9 points and 1 for 5 from 3. So he wasn't very good in the second half. And then K Dizzle, Kevin Durant, he had 30 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, a block, and 3 turnovers on 11 for 17 shooting, 2 for 3 from deep, and 6 for 7 from the foul line in 39 minutes. He was excellent. Excellent. And then the Lakers, only 9 deep. Max Christie played 11 minutes, made his only shot. It was a 3 points, 3 rebounds. He was a minus 17, though. But again, single game plus minus don't mean shit. If you notice anything that Max Christie wasn't good at, though, let me know in the comments. And then Dalton Connect. This guy really can shoot it. But, you know, teams are going to go at him defensively. And does he have anything else besides the catch and shoot 3? I don't know. But he's pretty good at that catch and shoot 3. 8 points, a rebound, and 2 assists to go along with a steal. No turnovers from him on 2 for 5 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. So you'll take that. 50% from 3. And the Lakers shot very well from 3 tonight for a change. They shot 53% from the field, 52% from 3, 14 for 27, and then 74% from the line, 29 for 39. Jackson Hayes came off the bench and gave the Lakers some solid minutes, 2 straight games. I think he's been pretty good. 6 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, a steal, and a block, a turnover. Had a nice putback early on in the game. 3 for 3 from the field. So a really solid showing from him. And then the 6th man tonight, Gabe Vincent. And I think this is the weakness for the Lakers is the bench. Gabe Vincent, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals on 2 for 5 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep in 21 minutes. The Laker bench only combined for 2 turnovers. As a team, they only had 12. So they kept good care of the ball. But let's talk about 13 turnovers overall. Suns at 17. But let's talk about the starters. And this team is a team that's going to lean into their starters very heavily. D'Lo, 29 minutes. I thought he was awful, honestly. And I've given D'Lo a lot of chances, but he just doesn't affect the game in enough ways. And he's clearly the 4th option, right? And I guess just given the fact that he's not going to have the ball a ton, him just being a catch and shoot guy that could be hit or miss, decent passer as well. Good passer, I would say. But the lack of defense and the hot and cold offensive stuff, like, you know what they should honestly do? The dream scenario is you make D'Lo a 6th man and you get a guy that's like a 3 and D to replace him and then put Austin Reeves at point guard. I think that would be like ideal if you want to take the Lakers to a championship level. Because they have a chance. If Anthony Davis can just be this hub, a guy that can average 26 plus points a game, they have a chance to go all the way. And LeBron takes this step back because he's taken that step back so far. I said if LeBron averages like 23, 7, and 8, that might be best for them long term. Preserve his that's a statistical sacrifice he's never taken. Maybe JJ can be that guy. He's his podcast homie. D'Lo had 5 points, 5 assists, 2 turnovers. He did have a steal and a block on 1 for 6 shooting and 1 for 3 from deep. They could package him for a 3 and D kind of player. Like, imagine if I know they wouldn't be able to do this. Obviously, it's not feasible. But imagine if they just traded, like, just swapped out D'Lo and had KCP. Like, that would just be, they would be so good. Then you have a point of attack guy defensively as well. Rui Hachimura, what a solid start to the season he's off to. Both ends of the floor. 14 points, 7 rebounds, staying aggressive with the shot attempts, 2 assists, just 1 turnover on 5 for 12 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, 2 for 4 from the foul line, though, a little iffy. And Austin Reeves, just spectacular. Both ends of the floor working really, really hard. 26 points, 4 boards, 8 dimes, 3 steals and a block. Did have 4 turnovers, though, but he was 8 for 12 from the field and 5 for 7 from 3 and 5 for 6 from the foul line in 37 minutes. Off to an incredible start to the season here, Austin Reeves, in his 4th season. And then the King, who got going in that second half, only had 4 points in the first half, 21 for the game, 4 rebounds, 8 dimes, just 2 turnovers, had some great passes in the second half, 7 for 13 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3 with those 2 threes coming in that third quarter, 5 for 8 from the foul line in 35 minutes. LeBron James, statistical sacrifice so far. You love to see it. It's taken 22 years, and he's played on more talented teams than this. But maybe it's the JJ stuff. And then AD, MVP ladder. Allow Anthony Davis to make his way. 35 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, another 35-point game. So he's averaging 35.5 points so far in these first 2 games. 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 1 turnover on 11 for 18 shooting. No 3-point attempts, but 17 free throw attempts, 13 for 17. And it's a lot of just turn and face, going to the chest, put back, roll, the dirty work points. Anthony Davis off to an incredible start to the season. Great night for Los Angeles. Shout out to USC football. And check out my latest video, first ever game at the Intuit Dome. It is currently at 7,800. Oh, no, 7,923 views. So go check that out. Everybody have a great night. The Dodgers. I'm going to have to do it one more time. Let's play it one more time for everybody. How about now?
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
Honestly, just because I'm in that kind of mood, okay, fine. I'll answer some questions. What are some questions here? Nah, I don't see nothing. I see someone. Yeah, what's up, Junebug? He says, I saw you live on TV on the Intuit Dome. Yeah, I was there. I think it's like Wilt. Wilt's more vocal than guys like KD. Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Bill, Larry, Mike, Hakeem, Shaq, Kobe, Bron, Stephen, Duncan. Yeah, you're forgetting about who are you forgetting? Is that 12 guys? It's supposed to be 12 guys. Wilt, Bill is 2, Kareem 3, Magic and Larry 4, 5, Mike 6, Hakeem 7, Shaq 8, Duncan 9, Kobe 10, Bron and Steph 12. That's it, 12. And then I would say Dr. J is like in that next level. LA Finger Red number 1. What's up, guys? NY, get the fuck out of here. Anthony Davis, yeah. I haven't watched the Warriors yet, Kyle. I'll watch. It looks like you guys are off to a good start. Yeah, it is very sad about Wiseman. Who are your top tier guys in history? Oh, yeah, you already named them. All right, guys. Hold on. Let's I just want to play it because it's too good not to. It's just too good not to. It's just too good not to play. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on. Let's put it on for you guys. I'm going to delete this part of the live after it's over, but it's a great time to be a Dodger fan, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see my screen? Can you see it? Is it laggy? Can you see it? Let me know. First pitch, too.
But again, all the talk about the superstar at the top of the order. These guys, these former MVPs themselves, a lot of chances funnel to them. And the bases will be loaded here for Freddie Freeman with the Dodgers down 3-2 and down to their last out in game 1.
Well, the good news here for Dodgers is Freddie Freeman doesn't necessarily have to do anything but get a single and jog to first. But beating something out in the ground will be limited because of his bat that bases.
Oh, man. Aaron Boone's probably getting crushed for that, huh?
Dodgers, Yankees.
You guys hear me still? Aaron Boone is probably getting crushed for that
for
decision.
Freddie Freeman right here. Taylor the tying run. Edmund the winning run. Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field.
The sound of that was unreal. The sound of that crack of the bat. First
Edmund
pitch.
the winning run. Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to
When he put his bat up like that, I literally could not believe my eyes, dude. I couldn't believe my fucking eyes when he did that.
right field. She is gone.
Delirium. Delirium, bro.
Gibby.
Rolling down Imperial Highway. Let that wind blow. Wow. We was born around. Put down the top. Crank up these boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. One down. One down. From the west side to the east side. Everybody. Oh, good night, everybody. Good night indeed. It's like another perfect day. I love LA. We love it. Good night. Go Dodgers.